Welcome to Empirical Peapod. I'm your host, Tim Day. Thank you so much for continuing this journey with me, where I get to sit and talk to all my favorite people. You guys remember the drill. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, whatever is going on out there. Let's get into today's episode. All right. Today we're here with Kristen Jones.
Sure, Hughes.
Do you think you look like every single person I talk to that is divorced? I'm always like, do you go back to your maiden name? And so far, none of them do.
Okay. It costs money.
It's a pain in the ass.
It's a pain. It's such a pain. So
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, and that's the point too. Like I've heard good arguments. Like my friend Felice is like, absolutely not, because I want to have the same last name as my daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fair enough. Like, and also, what's in a name? Who cares?
Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
My massage license has Jones, but then, then I have Hughes and everything else. So.
Do you have a massage license?
I do.
Does that have to be re-upped every year?
Yeah. 2 years.
Every 2 years? Mm-hmm. Nice. Do you do that privately then, or because you don't do that professionally, right?
No, I don't, and I don't really do it anymore. But I keep my license up. I get energy from people.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's very draining sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was recently diagnosed with fibromyalgia, so that hurts. I can get some.
That'll take it out of you.
Yeah.
I did trauma recovery with my friend Jenna, who used the program to cure her fibromyalgia.
Oh, what?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So where does your journey start?
Journey. Well, don't stop believing. That's my favorite.
Do you have a journey tattoo?
I do. Well, it's that's my theme in life. Don't stop believing.
Nice.
And it's my favorite.
In what?
In anything.
Oh, just in general.
Just like that should be your don't stop believing that anything possible could happen.
Yeah.
Like this. I've always wanted to be on a podcast.
There you go.
And there you go. So now I am.
You're out there manifesting.
I am manifesting.
Now I feel used.
Sorry.
But were you born in Illinois, like here?
No, I was born in Rochester, New York, and I was adopted 4 days later.
So you're adopted.
Mm-hmm. I am adopted.
Do you know I know where that goes eventually, but do you know the reasons and stuff behind that? You learned that way later in life?
I did.
Okay, so we'll get there.
I mean, I knew that I was adopted from the start. So as soon as I could start
when
talking...
you were 4 days old, you knew.
Well, I do. But when I was able to speak...
When you could understand.
Right, when I could slightly understand.
Did you have a feeling, or did they kind of sit you down, your adoptive parents?
I just think they just said it. I mean, my dad that raised me, and he is my dad,
Sure.
he had blue eyes. So, I mean, I didn't look off.
Do you not have blue eyes?
I do.
I'm saying, I'm looking right at you.
No, I'm saying that I looked similar to him.
It looked like you fit in, yeah.
Yeah, I looked like I fit in.
Yeah.
And I mean, my family's amazing. They're just great. But I knew right ahead, as soon as I could talk, I was telling people, I'm adopted. I came from an agency. Like,
And almost like because you were explained to it early, it almost seems like it's easier to take.
It is.
Because kids are so resilient.
They are.
And it almost, like, the way you just said it there, it almost sounds like it was a special thing. And realistically it is, because you were chosen, right? Somebody looked at you and was like, I definitely want that one.
My mom has always told me that this is my journey and this is my story. So that's what makes it important. And that that she always wanted to have children, and eventually she ended up having her own after she adopted me, but that she wanted me that bad that she...
Did they have trouble in the beginning? Is that why they...
Yeah, she had medical issues, and they told her she wasn't going to be able to have kids, and then they were in Rochester, New York for my dad's job, and she was a special ed teacher, and that's actually why my birth mom picked my parents. So, like, I'm not really sure how because here's the thing.
Wait,
I
so
feel
you were
like it's
adopted
different.
4 days later.
Yes.
But your birth mom got to choose who adopted you?
Kind of. So this is where it's tricky.
Okay.
It's like, so you hear one story, you hear another story, and then it's like, I think sometimes they want to fabricate things in order to make the birth mom give up the child, I guess, in that way, to talk them out of, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And maybe that's not the case. I really, truly, I was not there.
Yeah.
You know, but she has told me some things, and my parents told me some things,
Right.
and like, I'm like, oh yeah, you know. But I think they were able to discuss, like, oh, this is what this person does. This is what, they didn't know each other's names.
Okay.
They didn't know anything about each other. They never met.
Yeah.
But I think the agency like spoke to her about like what what the couple does, and I'm guessing that's what happened, because that's why she thought it was wonderful that my mom was a special ed teacher, and that takes a lot of heart to work with the special needs children.
So what? Because I think you're like just 2 years older. You just turned 43, right? Mm-hmm. I'll be 41 in a couple of days.
Whoop whoop! Happy early birthday.
So this was a long time ago. How long were you then the only child until they ended up having their own?
2 years.
Oh, so not that long, really.
No.
So like almost a year, 3 months later, they got pregnant at least.
Well, no, I think my sister came 2 years later, so we're all 2 years apart.
Yeah.
So she had my mom had 2 more kids, at me and then her own.
Right, but a year and 3 months till she would have gotten pregnant.
Yes,
You're
right. Yes.
Babies
do the
take
math
9
in my
months.
head.
See, when a man meets a woman.
Yes, I know. I'm not able to do the math in my head. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
It's all right.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Just so how many kids did they end up having? So you're
2.
So there's 3 of you, all 2 years apart, and you're the oldest. What was that like then as you grew up? I mean, probably not even noticeable, but was there ever a point where you realized where you're like, I do feel kind of a certain way? Not that anybody's projecting that on you, it's just natural, right?
So odd you should say that. Well, my sisters and I are completely different. My mom has a great story. Like, if my mom told me the stove was hot, I would still touch it.
We got to make sure.
Yes, and then my other sister would walk away, and then my other sister would be like, "Why? Why is it hot? Where does the heat come from?" So like we were all like that.
Yeah.
My half brother actually asked me when I first met him, you know, what was it like growing up in your house? And I said, you know, my mom would be like, okay, that's enough, Kristen. I was overly emotional. I have a lot of emotions, and that actually comes from my birth side. It would be pretty big and, you know, just super, super emotional. And they'd be like, that's enough. We're good. We're all done, you know. And
that's got to show up later as far as being like shut down and not letting people really let you.
You know, it's funny you would think that, but it also helped me gain strength in the fact of like being able to think about things before I actually react to them, because
that makes sense.
My mom would say I would have diarrhea of the mouth, which is totally true. And I would say things that I didn't mean, and I'd hurt people's feelings. And that's not the kind of person that I am, but I would speak from that emotional part of the brain, and I would just hurt people, and I don't like doing that. And so I think that was a wonderful thing. And my mom, I just have to say, she is the most incredible person in the world. And I'm so sorry, whatever I did as an adolescent and all that kind of stuff. Like, I was not very nice sometimes. And now that I have one, it's like,
Were you a pain in the ass when you were a teenager?
I was mouthy, very mouthy.
I'd always be curious to see what that's like, especially like, because as a teenager, obviously you want to hate everybody at some point, because you're just going through too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much to handle.
Yeah.
And nobody's actually listening.
Right.
Even people that are trying to be there for you are not actually able to understand what you're going through. But then to think on top of that, here's a family that chose to bring you in, And then on top of that, you're like, I don't want to lose my place or like be returned at some point.
You know what? I will tell you this. My family, like my grandparents that are no longer alive, they would tell you that I'm theirs regardless.
Yeah.
Like I was never adopted in their eyes. My family, I was so overly loved, like not overly in a bad way, but I have been like showered with love my whole entire life, and I've never felt otherwise. I mean, obviously, yes, as an adolescent, you see the difference between you and your siblings when one's not emotional and one is. You know, and I'm extremely artsy, and I'm not saying I'm not intelligent. And I'm not trying to say that, but my sisters are such hard workers, and they're very, very smart. And so it's like, you know, but we were all different as well. One was extremely book smart, and that was her focus. The other one was sports, and like we were just very different in that aspect. But they really, really, really were smart. And I was diagnosed with ADD and dyslexia, and so that was a problem. You know, like there was just little hiccups along the way, but I will tell you, I was showered with love.
I mean, it makes sense too because, like, I mean, you have a very bright light, like in general.
Oh, thank you.
Like, even if you only see your life through Facebook, which maybe you're manufacturing, but it's still like. It's definitely a bright light. Like you can tell that you're a loving person as well, and that had to come from somewhere, right? So it makes sense.
I will say that, and I don't like to. I should speak highly of myself, right? But I don't really like to do that often. But I have an abundance of love to give. Like it's never ending, and
I think it's weird when people like put a cap on it. Like if there's one thing that is endless, it's anybody's capacity to love. Like there's nothing but space in there.
Exactly.
Like you could have an off day, sure, but like there's nothing stopping all of us from just being like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
That's pretty great. Did you then? So you're all like 2 years apart. You all came up pretty much close then in school. Mm-hmm. You guys didn't move around, like, because you're still in New York at this time?
No, we were in Illinois.
Okay.
And we all actually ended up at different high schools, which I will have to say that's another reason why my mom's incredible, is because she advocated for our special talents. So one went off to a private, one went off to a public, and I went to the Chicago Academy for the Arts in downtown Chicago.
Really? Mm-hmm. Like, for high school?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you guys live when you came to Illinois?
Naperville.
Wow. So you went to Chicago for high school from Naperville. Mm-hmm. Is that something you commute to? Do you live on campus?
No, I took the Pace bus to the train to the city, and then
by yourself?
A school. Mm-hmm. Other kids from other towns. I mean, we're still a small school, and my graduating class was 30 kids.
Jesus.
But there were kids from the suburbs. So, like, once we got to the main train station, there was a bus that picked up all the kids from the suburbs.
That's insane. Like, even just to have the resources to do that is crazy. So one goes to private school, one goes to public school, and then you go to an art school.
Yeah, my mom worked really hard.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And just like I do the things for my kids, like my mom went and worked at my school to make it possible. Like she did everything that she could. And I'm not saying my dad wasn't existent, but my mom definitely advocated for us and our gifts.
Did they always stay together? Are they still together? No. Okay, so eventually, at some point, they got divorced.
Yes.
Was that after high school?
My freshman year.
Oh, so like right as...
Right. So I did go to the public...
Right when he realized the bills that were coming.
No, I went to North my freshman year, and then I just struggled so much, and my mom heard about this school, and I auditioned, and I got in. So I was there sophomore.
Because at this point, you said you're dealing with ADD, or ADHD, and dyslexia. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
And my parents were getting divorced.
Yeah.
So, and my dad's a great guy too. And they both found incredible people, and they get along as well. So it's very nice. We have a great.
Yeah. There's a weird stigma about divorce or couples breaking up. Like I said this on an earlier episode, that divorce is always good news. Mm-hmm. Like, and that weirds people out. But I think it's true. Like, you recognize that something's not working, and you decided to bet on yourself and your future instead of staying somewhere where you're not happy. I think that's a good thing.
Right, and if you can't, it starts with the couple, and if you cannot, if that's not healthy, it trickles down,
right.
And then everything else falls apart.
That's the thing, is the kids are so receptive.
Right.
Whether you see it or not,
right.
They're not idiots. They see what's happening.
Right.
They can tell the sheer disdain in the air, and they're taking that with them, and it's manifesting itself somewhere in their life. So it's better to just, leave it all. I'm still impressed that, like, when your parents sat you down and were like, "You're definitely adopted."
Yeah.
Just so you know. Just so you know.
Right. No, and they would tell me about the day that I was adopted, and anything that they could tell me, they would tell me. So
you said you went to Naperville North your freshman year. The whole year or just part of it?
The whole year.
Okay, so you know what it's like to go to a public school. And then they end up in a tailored school in the city for art. What was that transition like?
Beautiful.
Especially because your class there probably had hundreds of kids.
Yeah.
And now your graduating class was 30.
Mm-hmm. It was so magical. Like, have you ever seen the movie Fame?
No.
What?
I don't watch musicals.
Well, but so basically the first half of your day was academics, and then the second half was whatever art you were in. So I was in dance, but they had music. At the time, they had musical theater, visual arts, like music, so all types of music, and creative writing. And now they have like recording and...
I'm sure it's just got the curriculum just grown.
It's digital stuff, it's huge now. Still a small private school, but oh gosh, it was so cool. It was just...
It sounds incredible, like just for the experience. I'm an advocate that I think public school is important to an extent, because I do think that there's a line, it's a tough line to talk about as far as dealing with what life may throw at you versus actually being abused in a traumatic way. Because I do think that there's some value to learning how to deal with certain situations, but I also don't want anybody to have to be thrown into traumatic bullying that there's no way they can get out of. Yes. And that's really, really tough to reconcile.
Trust me, I feel that. I feel your pain on that one. But
were you bullied?
Of course. I was never popular. I was never popular.
Oh, the overly emotional girl that can barely read, right?
Yeah, I struggled a lot in that sense, but I had friends. I just...
Well, even in the art school, were you bullied in the art school? Or was it more of a camaraderie there?
She owns a studio out here, but I have a friend still from the Ballroom Studio.
Oh, nice.
Lex Dance Studio. She's amazing, incredible dancing.
So you guys met in high school? We
met in high school. She's younger than me. She's my sister's age, but we became the best of friends, and she was my concert buddy and we lived in New York together. See, I told you, I have a lot to test. I have a lot.
Ooh, in the future, are you going to end up back in New York?
Maybe one day. I work there in the summer now, so you never know.
In New York?
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
I know,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Right? Slow down. We have a lot to say. No, I'm just kidding. No, I had friends, but because my mom did work there as well, she was a counselor for a couple of days a week. We did I wouldn't say it was DARE, but it was like the anti-bullying, all that, just not, just like we had a group like that. But then, you have the punk kids that make fun of you, or they're just...
You still find, even in a private school like that, that's so small, is it still cliquey?
Yes, but they weren't as evil. I truly, genuinely, I feel like that school,
because they're still art nerds. They're just cliquey art nerds.
Right, and you find your best friends, and you find your close friends, and you find the people that you click with. And
I definitely felt safer than Naperville North.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Like, even just walking into the junior high these days, I'm like, this just does not feel good to me. Like, I don't like it. It's just too much.
Yeah.
And it's overstimulating as well.
That's a big thing, too, that I feel like is still in its infancy of being talked about, is just the sheer sensory of 1,200 kids over 3 grades in one building with 40 adults.
There's just so much I could say on that whole subject, and working in a school system, behind closed doors, you see everything that happens, and
it can be rough. So after high school, so you and your sister didn't go to the same high school, so you would never run into each other. That's just so wild to me. Like, you're basically across the state. Did you go to college then?
I went to COD for a little bit, and then
So, what would be the rationale if you already go into a private, like, focused school? What would be the rationale to go to what are they called? Community college?
I mean, I was just going because I wanted some gen ed, so that if I decided to go to a bigger school, I could.
Okay. Because the private place is less gen ed focused.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even, honestly, I'm trying to think back to that time. But then I ended up going to Columbia, and I have my personal views on that place too. But
well, let's hear them. Because I've had quite a few guests that have gone to Columbia.
Yeah.
All with varying levels of enjoyment.
I mean, now, exactly. I think that there are some departments that were wonderful, but after going to the academy and the teachers and the choreographers that I worked with.
I'm sorry, let's backtrack. When you were in high school, is that where you pivoted to focus on dance specifically? Or were you already dance focused before you got there?
I was already dance focused.
That's
I had
where your mom recognized,
yes,
all right, let's get her into a private before she can focus on this skill.
Right.
So when you went to Columbia, you're still focused on dance. Is there some sort of degree that lives in dance? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Dance. I mean, there's dance therapy.
Therapy? That sounds awesome.
Oh, I know, right? I know. Actually, I mean, even now they're like, "Come on, I mean, it is. It's so important to move in general. You don't even have to be a great dancer. Movement.
Trying to get my body to move, like, because I'm like on the brink of death, and I'm like, I should move my body. It's hard.
That's not good.
No, it sucks. I'm not saying it because it's good. I'm saying it because I need help, and nobody can do it for you.
No, you have to want to do it. You have to.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll get it. Yeah. But anyways.
Wait, what were you saying?
No, you were saying.
I don't even know what I was saying. There's the ADD
it's
for
still
you.
There.
Still there. It
That's
hasn't
good.
gone away.
How about dance therapy and movement in general?
Well, it was just, you could just go and, I don't even think I had a specific degree at that point. I also wanted to do theater stuff because I love building, like I love sets, and I took a class, and we worked on lighting and then sound and building sets, and then I got to costuming, and I cannot work a sewing machine, so I dropped out. I was like, forget it. And then I just could never stay focused, and I was very disappointed at the time some of the classes I was taking at Columbia, and I know what I was saying. Here it comes back to you. That I had literally the best teachers and choreographers at the academy. And, I still feel so blessed that I had those opportunities with them. And then going, and then, there were some really great teachers, but, I remember there was a class where, literally they said, okay, you're going to walk in a circle for 30 minutes. And I was like, what? I'm paying this money to walk in a circle? No, I'm not doing that. And so I just kind of drifted off. And then I randomly decided that I wanted to do massage therapy school.
So did you leave Columbia?
I did. Oh, yeah, I never finished.
Okay,
so I do not have a college degree. Right there.
Yeah.
Actually, I think before I went to massage therapy school is when I went to New York for a little bit to dance.
So you did move back to New York?
For just the summer. Actually, it was the summer the towers went down.
2001? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's because you would have graduated in 99, 98?
Yeah, 99.
Because I graduated in 2001.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you were out there when
I moved home 2 weeks before it went down.
So like just at the end of August.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had an opportunity to stay to be an apprentice in a company, and I was too chicken shit to stay, and I'm glad I didn't. And
what do you mean? Like what? Too chicken shit to stay? Like just
because
because you're out on your own in the big city?
so my best friend had to leave.
Because that's who you're just retired
Yeah.
that owns the studio here.
Yeah.
Came with you.
Yes,
You guys had a summer job.
We danced. No, we were just dancing at. I was dancing at Martha Graham, and she was dancing at Paul Taylor and Martha Graham.
I don't know what are those.
Those are okay. So Martha Graham's like one of like, well, she's no longer alive, but it's modern dance. So,
Okay.
but like old school modern dance.
Like, how do you make money going and dancing?
We didn't.
That? Okay.
We just went I'm not kidding. That summer, because it was so hot, and I distinctly remember literally we bought pretzels, a jar of peanut butter, and toilet paper.
The essentials.
The essentials, because it was so hot and we had zero money. I mean, our parents did help out,
sure,
but it was like
did you have
we
a place
only went
to
out.
Stay out there?
We did. We were leasing a place.
Yeah. Okay.
Or subletting.
Subletting.
Subletting on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. It was beautiful.
I'll bet.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is I had no fear at all to walk the streets.
Yeah.
At that age, but now I would never do it.
Really?
I don't know.
Do you feel like you've lost something there because like you even went to high school in Chicago?
Oh yeah.
Do you go to the city often now or no?
No, I try to avoid it as much as possible.
Because I feel like there's something there where people are terrified of Chicago, but when you're there, you're like, this place is actually pretty cool. But when you hear about it, you're like, that sounds terrifing.
I don't want to, but I think too maybe it's because I'm a mom.
Yeah, it's definitely a different perspective.
Yeah, I've always been a street smart person, so I'm very aware of my surroundings, but still, like still freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to get murdered, and a lot of people
No.
get murdered.
Yes, so I'm good. I'm good in my comfort zone a little bit.
So when you say chicken shit, you don't have any money coming in. You're in New York. Your friend had to leave.
No, but here's the crazy part. So we were like, let's get a job. And we're like...
I like that you had to come to that while you're already there.
We did,
like, maybe we should get jobs.
Because this is... I don't know if you remember H&M. You know the store H&M?
Yeah.
Okay, this is when they first came to the United States.
Yeah.
So, like, we wanted to go shopping, and, like, we had a budget on what we could live on.
But where's the money coming from?
Our parents.
Okay, so...
But not... I mean, like, it was few, and I think I had, like, graduation money saved up.
Okay,
You know,
so you guys saved some money. Let's go to the city.
Yeah.
We're a couple of dancers.
Yep.
Great.
And so then we were like, hey, let's go and like apply for a job. And we applied for a jewelry store in one of the towers underneath, because there was this, where the subway was, there were shops around.
Yeah.
So we applied, and we decided that we didn't want a job anymore. But thank God, because heaven forbid if we had stayed because we liked it and we were working, like,
right.
You know.
I hear it didn't end well there a couple weeks later. Yeah.
No, it did not.
Yeah, I'm still confused about, you go there and you each dance at a separate studio. Mm-hmm. What's the purpose of that?
The training that you get.
So you just like, but is it just the doors are open and anybody can just walk in?
No. You had to pay. I mean, it was like a summer intensive
So
program.
It's like a training program.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's not like you just randomly show up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I worked with this lady who, Madonna was actually her artistic director when not a long time ago. She actually found Madonna when she was at U of M in the modern dance program.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
She scared me. I cried. I remember. But she's the one who brought everything out of me, and I think that made me the teacher that I am today.
Yeah.
So, but she is also no longer here. But
that's still pretty impressive to be able to get to go do that.
I am very blessed, Tim. I'm very blessed.
Yeah, you've had quite a life, at least the first 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very grateful.
Yeah. So then you come back. 9/11 unfortunately happens, and we all know how that went. That had to be like crazy to just be like, I was just there.
Yeah. It was very
surreal, probably.
Surreal and sad.
Yeah.
And I had friends out there that
Yeah.
I made, and you couldn't call them, you couldn't reach out to them. There was no way, and it's just devastating. It's just I can't even fathom.
Yeah, it's too much to fathom.
It is.
So when you come back here, then what is?
I honestly think Colombia came after that.
Did you go back to Colombia?
No, or maybe it can't. I don't remember if it was before or after.
You said you'd gone there before.
Yeah, maybe it was before.
But then you said you left to get your massage license.
I did. I know I got my massage license after New York, but I don't remember if Colombia, what I was doing in between, honestly.
I know you didn't. You
I'm
never
old.
finished your degree.
I did not finish my degree.
So even if you went back, it doesn't matter. You dropped out again.
Yeah.
At some point.
So I did not. No, I did not go back. I ended up signing up for massage therapy school, and because I was paying for it myself, I did my very best. I went in with an academic probation, and I ended up graduating valedictorian.
Nice.
So I found a lot of passion in it, and I fell in love with it. And I still use the knowledge that I have from there, even just working in my job now, and then even teaching dance. Just even the joints in your body, being able to tell the kids, close your eyes and move your leg this way, move your leg, and so you can feel the muscles moving and the joints moving and things like that. So, it's still beneficial. I just don't really do it.
Well, yeah, it's got to be tough with the fibromyalgia. Makes it definitely a lot harder.
And I won't lie, there are some really creepy people out there.
That's true. I mean, I don't like to be touched in general, but massages are pretty awesome.
They are. I won't lie. I agree.
But like I said, I like more stuff my hands are pretty crippled, so I like to have my hands massaged.
Yeah, for sure.
That's at least less creepy.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't like to be touched. I'm a fat furry man. I don't want anybody in my space.
Don't diss yourself. That's not nice.
I just said 2 facts, just so we're clear.
That's fine, but you don't need to. You just.
Is my tone bad?
Well, you just need to be positive about yourself.
Oh, I'm a fat furry guy. Is that better? Okay.
No, be nice to yourself.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm used to it. What comes after then? So you get your massage license. That's the same one you've maintained now for the last 20 years?
No.
No, you let it... Man, eventually you let it lapse.
No, I still have my license. Yes, I still do.
But you said you've re-upped it every 2 years for the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I would do it every now and then, on just random people or friends. I would still do it, but I don't work for anybody.
Right.
I don't.
Is it something you keep in your back pocket? If I needed to make some money, I could.
That's why.
Do you have a table and stuff?
Oh, heck yes.
Yeah. So you can do it for sure.
Yeah.
What then after that? So when you initially got it, you're still in your 20s. Mm-hmm. Where does this journey take you now? Also, is there another kickback that we missed? Is there a conscious moment that you were drawn to dance? Do you feel like when you were younger, or is it just something that you've always done?
So another reason why my mom is wonderful is she put us in a bunch of different things so that we could find out what we like.
See what you're drawn to?
Mm-hmm. So I was put in soccer and basketball, and I will fully, honestly admit that I suck at sports. Right. But now that I have kids, I'll try and play, but I'm horrible. It's not my thing.
Which is crazy because you think as a dancer you'd be athletic because you're incredibly dancers have athletic bodies and coordination.
They do, but we are also very clumsy. And I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah,
Usually a dancer's injury has nothing to do when they're dancing. It's randomly.
Well, because when the dance is choreographed and you've drilled it, as opposed to walking around is hard.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, I can't walk a straight line. So
right. I'm an Aries. I fall down all the time.
Yeah, that's just. I feel you. I feel you. And then now also finding out because I do know my birth family now. They are very artistic. So I do.
When does that happen?
After my second daughter was born.
Okay, so that's way more recent because your
Yes.
second daughter is.
Yeah, I'm trying to
How
think.
old is she now?
It'll be 10 years now that I found her.
Okay, great.
So
nothing significant happens in your life from 20 to mid 30s.
no, that's not true. I had my kids.
That's right. Because your first daughter, you just said is she 14 now? Mm-hmm. Or she's going to be going into high school? Mm-hmm. Were you married before? Were you married to her dad? Mm-hmm. Okay. So at some point, you fell in love, quote unquote.
I did. And then, and without that, I wouldn't have her. So
that's true.
And it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And then, again, I was lucky for my mom because she helped me. And then I met Dave through, did you ever meet, I won't say her. But she was one of her friends, and her boyfriend at the time, when he was in Florida, went to school with him, or roommates or something weird like that.
I remember there was something about a blind date.
Maybe.
Because you guys, and I could be misremembering.
Yes, you guys were performing at North Beach.
Met.
At North Beach.
No, there was. I don't think that.
It was at North Beach.
No, was it?
Yes, it was. It was his birthday. Believe me, I remember.
That can't be right.
It is.
It can't be.
It is.
It can't be.
Yes.
When it was at the Double Door.
No, that was we were already dating at that point. Yeah.
Okay, then you have to be right.
Well, duh.
Yeah,
It's my life.
You're right. You're right. Let me explain your life to you.
Yeah, let me explain.
I'm trying to think of. I can't remember playing with Dave at North Beach. But that's also because we didn't film that show, maybe.
No, I don't think you did.
But we filmed the Double Door.
Yes, you did. And that was cool. I took some really cool pictures from that, too.
The pictures were cool. The video, we're very boring to watch. It's amazing that anybody does ever play.
Stop it. Dude, my daughter is obsessed with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And she begged Dave to, have you guys play, I think, at one of her birthdays.
Oh, he told us about it. It's they expect us to play. And I'm
so just be prepared. Better start practicing.
Yeah, I'm like, good luck.
You'll
Half
do
the
it.
band is across the country.
You'll do it. Dave will pay you. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. But even that, so you after your first marriage, you guys co-parent well, or as well as can be expected, I suppose.
Yeah.
And eventually, it does. Your second marriage also dissolves, but now you have two kids. And of course, Dave's amazing. Anybody can co-parent with this guy.
Yes, I agree.
And he also takes care of, as far as Dave's concerned, those are both his kids.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Yes.
And I think that's the best part too, is there's so many people, I feel like, in your life in general, because you've got your parents, you've got your sisters, you've got two ex-husbands, you've got a boyfriend, I'm sure, you've got so many people around that maybe not their sole focus, but are focused on keeping these girls happy, and everybody's doing it with the same intention of their happiness instead of the adult ego getting in the way.
For sure. And the thing is like I said, an abundance of love. My children are loved. They are loved in every which way, and and sometimes just because of being a kid, you don't necessarily understand it or see it yet until I feel like you really don't until you're older.
I think it's one of those things that you look back and realize.
Yes. So I when they get emotional at times, I'm like, you guys are fully loved. They love you. And sometimes you don't like what they do, but that's what, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. But we're here to support you and love you. And that's,
You said before we got on that you're kind of, at least the oldest is getting into the stage of bumping heads, let's say, because she's just at that age and she has to fight somebody. Right. There's just no way around it.
Right.
And sometimes that's going to be you. How do you reconcile that? Because it's tough because everybody has their best intention at heart. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's easy to feel singled out. Of all these people that are around you, you want to fight with me?
Yeah.
That's tough.
You know, I will say that I feel blessed because I also feel like we can have conversations that most kids can't have with their parents. So I feel like we're that close. Like, no, she's not my best friend. My mom has always taught me, you're not my best friend. I mean, now I have a good friendship with my mom, but she's still not my best friend. She's my mom.
Well, it's different when you're 43, right? Yeah.
But, you know, like it's not the same as when we were growing up, period.
Is that true?
Social media, the phones, the way, I mean, I hate to say it too, and I don't want to, like, I don't like even talking about it, but the COVID thing, them being antisocial for like almost a year or 2 years, like that, it really, honestly, from where I work all the way through high school, like it really has affected their social capabilities and, you know, and it's...
Do you think that those are bumps in the road, or do you think that those are literally like personality altering things?
I mean, I think it could go either way. I think it
I'm
depends
sure it's probably on an individual basis too of who's
and
around that particular kid.
And how they are being loved and cared for at home.
Right, which is the biggest variable we don't know.
Right.
And usually where most of the trauma is manifesting.
Right.
Whether that's on purpose or not.
Right. So, I mean, and my daughter is incredible and I love her to pieces, but she's also a girl going through the teenage phase. Like, it's like typical. I know that I was a smart ass and had a mouth on me, and so...
Do you not take it personally? Like, it's hard.
There are times
it's really hard.
I feel like lately, I feel like I've been able to tough it out.
But you also said you could talk to her. Is there a time when you can be like, hey, like, I get it. I genuinely understand. But you've crossed the line here and I'm genuinely hurt.
Right. So, like, you know how we were talking about our working with kids, and it's the waiting, wait out, like to wait.
Yeah.
There's time. You need the time to wait them out and have them be able to regain themselves before they can have a conversation, because
that's like what your mom did. Okay, that's enough.
Yep. And I'm like, okay. And I walk away, and when she's ready, she'll come and she'll say what she needs to say. And then we were able to move on and move past it. And, you know, I mean, I think that that's nice. It's not always easy. And I'm not saying I don't get mad and frustrated either, because I do.
Do you really apologize, though?
Do I apologize for getting mad? Absolutely.
Does she apologize?
Oh, yeah.
I think to me, that's one of the critical things. When I think about, at least my upbringing, I mean, yours might have been different. Back in the day, because your family sounds awesome. Back in the day, though, like when you came up, like whenever you would have a fight, it was just expected, like you just got over it and nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I think that sucks. And I think it's a really piss poor thing to show kids, so that as they grow up, they can fly off the handle and not expect to apologize, or get talked down to and not expect an apology.
Right.
Like, that's one of the things I've been focused on now. Like, even like with just like my sister, and it's like people were like, normally I would just do something and be like, they'll get over it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, hey man, like that's not the guy I am or want to be. Like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's important to be able to do that at a young age.
Yeah. Believe me, there are moments as a parent that I feel guilty if I get upset or mad or frustrated. I will say, working where I am now, that like there's a different understanding of processing emotions, and even just this year alone, I feel like I'm just gaining even more of that wait time, even for myself.
Yeah. We had mentioned too, you're an overly emotional person, probably quite empathetic.
Yep.
So you probably carry a lot with you, and sometimes it just comes out of your eyes.
Yeah. Oh, no, I have yes, you can see it in my face. You'll never not see it in my face. My face says it all. Yeah. You can see it. But you'll always see it. But, yeah, no, I am grateful, and, you know, and the thing is like, they can write as many books as they want to on parenting, but not one kid is the same.
Yeah, it's always, when you're like, I'm not saying there's no value to those kind of books. What I'm saying is you're talking about this particular person's experience.
Yep.
And there's value in that to an extent, but
Of
it's not
course.
what you're going to get.
Right.
Like I had mentioned too in a previous episode about like you can raise two kids the exact same way. They're going to come out way different.
Oh, my kids are complete, I feel like, polar opposite children. Even though they're both artistically inclined, they're not the same at all.
Yeah.
And I don't love one more than the other. I love them equally, but they're different kids.
Did you always want to be a mother?
I did. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that, like, and now as an adult, I'm like, I was never abandoned. But I feel like when you are adopted and, like, you didn't feel like you fit in, that you have that abandonment thing.
I was going to say, you just said you don't feel like you were abandoned?
Not anymore.
Okay,
now that I'm not as an adult.
Yeah, when you can look back and kind of see somebody chose me, they raised me, they were amazing to me. But as a kid, there had to be times when you're like...
And, you know, looking and knowing my birth family now, like, I am eternally grateful for that. I would not be where I am today had she not made that selfless decision.
I would be curious, I feel like we're at the right space now to get into that. How did that come about, even the idea to even look for her?
So actually, when I graduated from high school, my parents gave me a letter that she had written to, well, not a letter, oh my God. Well, yes, there was a letter. Oh my goodness gracious. But the agency gave me just a brief little history about, like, you know, there was like a little story, and then there was like, you know, like health stuff. But I only know stuff on my mom's side, not my birth mom's side, not my birth father's side. So
he's not in the picture ever?
No.
That was a weird way you answered that. We'll get to it?
Maybe.
Maybe. Great.
To each their own. I also don't want to ruin someone's family life if that's not something that he does know I exist.
Right. But he just wasn't interested in this process, whatever.
Right.
But so you had a letter and some information back when you graduated high school, but you said you guys, you didn't seek her out.
So I
for
did.
Like almost 20 years.
No. So I did try. And when I got a letter back from the agency saying it'll take up to 12 years, you'll have to go through the state of Albany, like you'll have to go through the court system just to get to my
this happened in New York. Right.
And because in the 80s, it was always a closed adoption, meaning the parents never met, they didn't get a say in the raising. Now you can do that.
Sure.
You can have open adoptions. But back then it wasn't like that. So I had a case file. It's closed, like all that kind of stuff. But there was no, it was hard to get to. So I just kind of gave up on the idea. And then I want to say a couple years later, I was being a difficult 20-year-old in my late 20s.
Yeah.
So like just an angry person, and I was going for it at the wrong reasons.
Sure.
And trying to find her again, same thing.
When you say wrong reasons, like you just demanding answers, like why would you do this?
No, more like I think it was like I still couldn't find myself. And so I was kind of taking my rage out on my parents that raised me. And like...
And sending you to New York
I
and
need
pay
to
for all
find...
your stuff.
But you don't think about those things until you get older, like how amazing your parents really are and what they do for you.
We should call your parents right now.
I know, I should. My mom's incredible, and my dad is... They're just good people. But like, you don't think about those things. And, you know, I... again, just wanted to almost like to burn them in a sense, but not really burn them. I don't know how to explain it. But now after the math, like I'm like, oh, it happened when it was supposed to happen. So then jump to after I had my second daughter. Dave and I were watching, I don't know do you ever see the show Who Do You Think You Are? It was like on TLC.
No.
And it was, so basically it took famous people and they searched their ancestry.
Oh,
and
yeah, I've heard of that.
And I mean, like, I just found it so fascinating.
Yeah.
And so, and at this point, the internet's like way better than it ever was. So I just Google searched on my paperwork that they gave me. It said, well, this is really weird. My first paperwork said just my birth date and the hospital. And it did not say my hospital. It's just said Rochester. Like, it didn't give the information of like the hospital. The second time I got paperwork, it said what hospital. So that's why I find it very.
It's weird, yeah.
Isn't it? Like
yeah.
so that's why I think there might be some little. I don't know. I don't know.
What do you think? What's the conspiracy theory?
No, I don't know. I just find it weird. But
what is the time period in between those two paperworks?
20 years.
I mean, like, statutes change.
Well, maybe
change.
I don't know. So I found that. So I Google searched March 24th, blah, 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 and...
Wait, you didn't even have your mom's name at this point.
No, I had no idea who she was.
So
I just
Googled the hospital.
Well, I Google searched my birth date, baby girl, Rochester, New York, hospital.
Wow.
And then it pulled up this website, and I kind of like want to find it again. And I hope to goodness, we did email the owner and say we found, and thank you so much for having this website. But I remember clicking on it and being like, this is weird, because the background was black and like the colors were like neon. Yeah. But basically this website was for people who were adopted in New York or Rochester, New York. I don't know if it was Rochester or just New York alone. And you could upload information. So I scrolled down, and I saw baby girl, March 24th, Rochester, New York, the date, and then it said two things. My mom's profession, but my dad's profession was wrong. It said he was a lawyer, and he was not a lawyer. So, so I was like, well, but like that's so accurate that has to be it. There could have just been a mistake within so. And then there were two email addresses, but that had been on that website for so long that I don't think they worked, or something was weird about it. So then a couple days, but we found out the name, and we Google searched her name, and she wrote a book.
Your mom?
My birth mom did, yeah. And the first section of the book is her pregnancy with me.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the book of? Just her life?
So 3 significant events in her life, but then how it came back full circle.
Interesting.
Yeah, and now she wants to kind of write the ending because we found each other. So, like, a re-ending to the book. She also wrote a screenplay, too, on it. So one day she would love to have it into something. But, so I looked at her, and I remember just looking at her and being like, oh, I don't look like her at all. Like, I don't look like her at all. And then we Google searched her Facebook page, and I found out I had siblings. And how I knew it was her is, and I don't know how this happened, and I'd have to ask my mom again, but she had a picture of my christening. Like, I was for my baptism. I was in the christening dress, and the only reason I knew is, one, my mom had that photo, and all of my kids were baptized in that same christening gown.
So your birth mom only had you for 3 days.
4 days.
You were adopted out on the 4th day.
Yeah.
And in that time, you were baptized.
No. I think my mom sent the picture to the agency, and then they gave it to her or something. There was some kind of weird aftermath.
Okay, it's hard to keep track of.
I know,
your adoptive mom your adoptive parents got you christened. It sent a picture to your mom potentially, or to the agency.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No. So my parents that raised me.
Yes.
They had me christened.
Yes.
Yes, and then
you're saying what I just said.
Yes, I'm just clarifying.
It's a lot. It's a lot to keep track of.
That's what I'm saying. My life is a little crazy, and that's why it's a don't stop believing kind of life, because there's so many. I feel like my life is based on so many mini miracles that I just.
Well, not for nothing. It takes a million miracles to make each second in existence.
Right.
So like to be able to break it down and enjoy each one Like that's the secret of life.
Right.
Like,
It
it's
is.
just a good time.
Absolutely.
So you get her name. I like that you haven't said her name, but she's clearly a famous author.
She's not.
Oh, she's an author.
She's an author. I don't think she would mind. I'll just say her name's Jane.
Yeah. Well, she wrote a book. Like, not for nothing. The book kind of sounds awesome.
Well, it's called Gift of Graces.
Yeah. Don't read her last name though on the book.
Oh man, no! It's actually it's a very good read, and it's.
Did you read it?
Oh yeah.
After you met her or before? Once you saw that she wrote a book, did you read it?
I did buy the book.
Or were you already in the
I
process?
hadn't met her yet. I think I had spoken to her. Dave and I ordered the book. My dad ordered the book. My mom, like everyone ordered the book.
Everybody?
Yeah.
I feel like you only needed one copy.
Well, no, we didn't all live in the same area, so it's fine.
Fair enough.
So I found her, and then Dave was like, well, let's just make a Facebook page. And so I made a Facebook page, and I put the christening picture up there, and I was like looking for blah, blah, blah. And I befriended her and her sister, who was also named on that random website. And her sister added me and like talked to me first before I got to, actually my birth mom was the last person to find out that I found her.
Yeah.
And that was pretty hard for her too.
I'll bet. Well, this can be a pretty traumatic thing.
It was.
Because you said too, she's like, at this point, she's got a whole new family and life.
She has.
It's been a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, it's been 30 some years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy to think about. But clearly there's something there because she wrote this book. Now, had you already started reading the book?
I want to say I did.
Because at first, did you have an inkling that first third was about you?
No.
You just were like, okay, she's pregnant with somebody. Like,
well, maybe it was. I'd have to look it up.
Or like you might have thought, but you didn't know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then a couple days after, I think it was like 48 hours later, after putting up the Facebook page, was the first time that I got to speak to my birth mom for the first time.
And so you said she was the last to know. Who besides her sister?
The whole entire family.
Because her sister went and told everybody.
Pretty much. It was like, this person's looking for this person, like, you know how like on Facebook there's like the analog, or like the befriend this person, know this. So
there's actually a place you can click that says see friendship also.
Right,
that will spiderweb everything.
Oh, yeah.
No. Okay, so I bet she was pissed.
She was not happy. But she was also very overwhelmed with joy.
Sure.
So there was like a mixed emotion. But I remember speaking to her for the first time, because I will tell you that I will openly admit that my whole life I thought Barbara Streisand was my birth mom. I had hoped. But talking to her for the first time, she has like that New York accent.
I was going to mention how you don't have a New York accent. You just didn't spend enough time there.
But although you'll be funny if we did this after my camp experience in the summer, like I'd come back with.
Did you pick it up?
Yeah. There's a lot of different, because there's people from all over the world. So like just.
That makes sense.
But so yeah, I mean, it's and it, not every reuniting, is that a word?
Reunion.
Thank you, reunion. Is as good as mine is.
What was that conversation like? Did you message first, or did you just have a phone call?
I think we called each other.
Have you guys met face to face?
Oh gosh, yes.
Is she still in New York?
Oh yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want an excuse to go to New York?
And actually, the reason why I work at this camp, well, not reason, I mean, obviously because of my talents too, but I still had to, interview for the job and everything, but...
You're not a Nepo baby.
Yeah, no. But my youngest half-brother had an au pair from England, and he is now the assistant director for this camp. So it's weird how, like, now it's like this it just snowballs into bigger and beautiful things. And so you just never know what's going to happen.
So you kind of inherited a whole new family then.
I did. And you know what is insane? And not that I was born and raised Catholic, not I don't practice, but it's almost like in ways I do thank the God or universe or whatever it is, because they placed me into a home that would have been like how I would have been raised. They have a big family. I mean, random little things like she would have been my maternal grandmother. At her funeral, they wore red. Same with mine, but we never knew each other. Yeah. And like whenever you're at a wedding, We Are Family comes on. Like my whole family dances, and same with theirs. Like there's just little tiny things that like I would have still been raised in a beautiful family with love, but I don't think I would have ever had the life that I have, if that makes sense. So.
What do you mean you wouldn't? Because it sounds like you're saying there's so much serendipitous there, where it's very similar, but you're saying that you wouldn't have had the same life.
Because when you're young, like my parents were married and they had great jobs, and my birth mom was a single parent, and she was very young, and you don't have the same. Yes, I wouldn't have had the opportunities. Would I have been loved? 1,000%.
Sure.
Like
you can love a kid and live in a car.
Of course, but she did what was best for me, and this is how insane this is. Like when she came, two of her sisters came, and with her, and my mom that raised me had them all over to eat, and
that's awesome.
It's very like, I don't know, and that's what makes my mom so amazing too.
Yeah, it's hard to not feel just overwhelmingly grateful that everybody can set their ego aside and just be like, this is actually pretty amazing. Let's embrace it as much as we can.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So do you feel, because you were talking too about like in your late 20s you were, rambunctious and wanting to, do this as a middle finger essentially.
Yeah, at times.
And to kind of like, but to get
sorry, Mom and Dad. Sorry, Larry. Sorry.
To get it when you did and were ready to receive and like legitimately, what was it like? Like, did it feel any different inside, or was it any kind of relieving or weight off your shoulders, or?
So what's funny is that like I remember when I had, that was a big reason why I wanted kids, is because I wanted someone to look like me. Because I didn't have anyone that looked like me. I know that sounds so stupid. And
it doesn't sound stupid, like, maybe a little selfish.
But like if you look at my mom and my sisters, like they look related to each other.
I just love the idea of being like, I had kids because I wanted a smaller version of me.
Which is funny because my mom said, I hope you have 12 kids just like you. And I cried and I was like, how dare you say such a thing? And guess what? I got it. I totally got it. But, when you become a parent, there is a different respect. And I feel like once I became a parent, my respect for my mom that raised me, and she's my mom. She's my mom.
Sure, yeah.
The amount of things that she did for me, like that, I feel like it really stood out to me. And so I think at that point in my life, I was able to appreciate her and then welcome in the other part of my life and have a different appreciation and not have it be a vile thing. And there was a sense of, I don't even know if relief. I feel like it was like, oh my God, this is so cool. How is this? Yeah. Like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about like, I remember like Dave and I were like, Dave's like, oh my gosh, like you found her. And you know what I mean? Like just, there was so much excitement and so much, and then at the same time they were like protective. And that's nice to feel that you are loved enough to where like, it's okay if this doesn't work out, Kristen. It's okay if like the relationship doesn't work out.
Right.
You have us and,
not for nothing, that's huge because like we don't have the story of whatever your birth father was like, but it could have easily turned into that.
Right.
So at least you have your base.
Right. And so, what was I going to say? You know, and it's funny because you know how you said I said the whole look like me thing. And you're like, it's kind of so selfish. But when I met my aunts, my maternal aunts and my mom, like we have the same hands. And, you know, like it's really weird because hands play a predominant role, like I feel like in life. And like those are like my grandmother's hands, like I can still vividly see her cooking and things like that. And it's the same in my birth family, like so like to be able to look and then look over and see that you have that genetic, there is that, I'm getting goosebumps again, like there is that, like there is something. And
well, there's this beautiful sense, I would presume, of belonging.
Yes.
This is I actually fit in here. And that's not to take away anything from anywhere whatsoever. Like, two good things can exist.
Right. And I think that's what I meant by saying that, like, it happened when it was supposed to happen because I don't think
when you were ready to receive it.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't have appreciated it the way I do, or I did, and I do now. So...
Did you ever have the why conversation? Or was it not even worth having?
Of course.
Was it just, I was just a young mother?
Pretty much. I mean, and she was born and raised Catholic. If you read the book, she talks about it, and
we're not allowed to read the book because we don't know her last name. So,
but I said the name of the book and her first name. But anyway, but sorry, I'm squirmy because I won't lie, I have to pee really bad. Nice. TMI, guys. Yeah. Like,
use yourself again.
I did. No. That like it was tough for her. It was tough, and but again, she was surrounded by love, and
was she
a sister who took really good care of her?
But like a stereotypical Catholic family is going to look at her a certain way.
I think that was her fear.
Okay, before getting pushed into something.
Right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but she, you know, I mean, we do talk sometimes, but I tend not to try and bring it up because I don't know what that feels like. I personally could never do it. Could never do it.
Yeah, well, at this point too, like, you know, not to take away your own experience, but what's going to come out of it that's going to help you? Like,
there's nothing.
You do it, like, I feel like you're so on such a good emotional level and have so much good around you. Like, why push?
Yeah, I mean, my memory stinks a lot of the times, and so
I just sat here for an hour talking about your life. I'm aware.
Okay, good.
How bad your memory is.
It's really bad. But I can remember like an 80s song when it comes on the radio, you know, or my old phone number. Yeah, but nothing else. Stuff. So, I mean, but, oh, now see, what?
It's gone again. Tell me more about your memory.
You know, I think for her, I know that we've had conversations, but I think it was right at the beginning. We did have a lot of conversations about it, and so much has happened in my life since then that, like, it, you know, I mean, like, sometimes I forget what my sisters do for a living. Like, it's just, you know, the specific details. Like, I'm not, I have my kids to worry about. Like, I have other things that are prominent in my life that, like, just random little things, you know. But, you know, and I'll still ask her random questions. Like, okay, did you have this? Did you have this? And it's funny because when I have seen her, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. You do not have to be raised by the same person in order to have the same qualities and traits.
Sure. That's how genetics work.
Yeah. And, you know, it's crazy that, because you don't know that until you can find it. And when you find it, it's like, oh, I come from an artistic family, and, you know.
So I'm just putting this together now. The camp you're talking about that your girls go to and that you work at is in New York.
Yes.
No wonder. Now it makes more sense.
Yes.
Is that like an artistics type camp?
No, it's like the coolest camp on the planet.
Yeah?
It offers everything.
Literally? 'Cause, man,
like,
I can think of a lot of stuff. Is there an ice cream social?
yes, there is.
So what else do you
Cooking. They have glass blowing. They have, which is funny because I saw that and I was like, I've made a bunch of those this last summer.
Yeah, what would you call that?
A flower. It's a flower. Mm-hmm. It's a flower.
It is a flower for sure.
But and then they have water skiing and sailing and horseback riding and theater and.
It's like 2 weeks, isn't it, or is it longer?
No, it's the whole summer.
Oh, really?
The kids are there for like 6 weeks. I'm there for 8 because I have training beforehand.
I'm aware that it's coming up because Dave and I have plans. He's like, well, the girls will be at summer camp. And I'm like, oh, good.
Yep. That's the best time to do it.
Yeah, well, because Guy, too, he's like, yeah, summer's coming up. We'll do something.
Yeah. But yes, it is coming up, and it's really cool. It's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it sounds actually pretty incredible. I know we've touched about it here and there as your life has kind of gone the direction it's gone to, but I feel like dance is a much bigger piece of your life even than what we've talked about.
It is.
How do you, I know you have your main job, but like, you do so much in the realm of dance. Mm-hmm. Do you make money doing that, or is it just something that you do?
I mean, I do teach at a studio.
Sure.
And then...
What do you teach in a studio?
Well, I mean, whatever class they gave me to teach.
Okay,
so I work for someone.
Right.
Yeah.
But like when you say dance, like I've always wanted to learn like ballroom dancing and waltz and like
okay,
all different.
So like,
I know that that's not necessarily what you're talking about.
No, now if you want a really good ballroom studio, there's one right over here.
I would like to have a girlfriend. I'm hoping for that one day.
But maybe you could meet someone
at the place.
Well, they have open like.
Wait. No, that's not a thing.
I swear, like they have open group classes.
Yeah.
But you never know. You got to get out there. That's what I'm saying. Why? Like what?
I'll have a heart attack walking to the mailbox. I don't know. Maybe the self-deprecation's not helping.
No, you need to like be more positive. And I mean, they have YouTube videos where you can learn a couple of things and just move. Just move. Go out for a walk. Don't even start with dance. Just literally go for a walk. A slow-paced walk. Walking is the best form of therapy. I 1000%. Like if I could, oh my God, like the
thoughts. If you could walk.
If I could not walk, I don't know what I would do. Like in general,
tough.
Like in between my lunch period, like in my lunch period, I mean, I cut down my eating time so that my friends and I could walk to school. So just kind
when I used to work at school,
breath.
Katie and I would during our lunch walk the track when it's nice out.
Exactly. So it's like it's definitely a huge therapeutic thing for me as well.
So, for sure, and I like to walk. I like to go to the lake and walk around the lake.
Yes.
So, but as opposed to that, what kind of dance do you do?
So, right now I'm doing jazz and hip hop, and then
like popping and locking, bro.
No.
That would be amazing.
I wish. But no, the studio pretty much offers like ballet, jazz, hip hop.
Yeah.
Palms, tap. Oh my gosh, the tapping is ridiculous. Like I want to take a tap class so bad. That would be the greatest satisfaction ever is to tap dance.
Now, are these aren't necessarily like what would be the word, like aerobic space? These are actual dancing. Of
course, like you're learning.
But you're moving.
You're moving, but you're works. Right. But you are learning terminology and you're learning choreography. Yep.
Is it broken into sequences, I presume?
Yeah.
That's how the choreography would be?
Yeah, the choreography would break down.
Like they'd probably call it choreography, not sequences.
No, but I like that actually better. But yeah, so I mean, like, I would start off with a warm-up, and then we break things down to go across the floor, and then we do, like right now where it's recital season, so I'm in the middle of choreography.
Now when you say recital season, what are you guys doing?
So I'm choreographing pieces for them to perform on stage.
For what show?
For their show, like the studio show. They have a big show. So they do
a big show, like just once a year,
or? No, they have them a couple times.
Okay, so like quarterly probably?
Yeah,
something like
twice,
that.
I think.
That would be biannually. So do you write all the choreography? Is that on you?
That's me. The choreography for my dances, for my class.
Piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is that like? Like to have to put a whole thing together like that, like a whole routine.
So it's crazy because it's awesome, but then it can be a struggle because I work with like the age group where so I'd say like my age group is probably like 7 to 10, and that's at the age where like you are explaining something 12 different ways because everyone's learning ability is different.
Right. It's a pretty big gap, really.
It is a pretty big gap, and so it can be challenging at times, but it's also really fun and rewarding, especially when they're like, yeah, we finished it, and they get out there, or like costume day when they get their costumes and they're so excited and they're like, you picked the coolest costume. And I really try to find the coolest costumes, but so it is exciting and it's fun.
Have you ever done any, or do you get to do anything in like with adults in dancing?
Well, I did have my Zumba certification for a long time, so yes, I did do that. But
like Zumba is more of like a workout, right?
It is a workout.
Like
but
so
dancing.
You wouldn't teach, like you said, the other studio would be like the place to go for like ballroom and those kind of like stereotypical things, I guess.
I would say adults.
I feel like an adult hip hop class would be awesome.
It would be awesome. So prior to COVID, I was teaching at a studio that no longer exists, but I did have an adult ballet class, which was super awesome and fun. And like we would just, I got to yell at them and be like, this is what I said and you didn't do it right. And like, do it over and I would start the music over because they would want the challenge. So like I would jokingly be like, stop. Yeah. Start over. You didn't do it right.
It's hard though, right? Like,
it's hard.
Just trying to do something like even just a pirouette, right?
Yes, and like that is probably the most beautiful thing to watch, like ballet to me, and it's the most challenging. I feel like, although I don't know because I can't do pop and lock and I can't do crazy hip hop stuff. Yeah. But like any kind of dance is insane. Yeah. And the dancers that are now, and like the different genres of dance that are out now, are so unique and like the kids are so gifted. Like they're so gifted, and so it's like it's different. So it's hard to explain. So like when I was younger, like ballet is a structured class. Right. You start at the bar, you come to the center, then you go across the floor and end in the center. The modern dance that I did, same way. You started on the floor, stood up, and then went across the floor. And then jazz, same way. Like there was a structure to it. Now there's still structure, obviously, to like my class. I have a different, but like it's so different than what it was, and like the people's ability and creativity is just mind blowing. It's just crazy.
Well, because you've been around it for your whole life.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's? 'Cause I feel like there's a lot of fusion in dance. Over like the last 20, 30 years, like where you definitely, you just said everything has its beginnings and its core processes, but the fusion of all these different styles into each other has been incredible. Like, even if you watch like a show as simple as like a Dancing with, not simple, but like,
so you think you can dance and Dancing with the Stars,
and you're like, the stuff they're doing is insane. It's insane. And to just take like some asshole off the street and give them 2 weeks to learn it and to be that good at it. Yeah. It's insane.
It's mind blowing, and the talent is just crazy.
Has there ever been a point in your life, or even in the future, where you like to do the next level up, or are you content with like you love what you're doing right now?
You mean with the age level?
No, just dance in general. Like you're good enough at dance, and you've been around it long enough to where you've got like. There's tons of things you could do.
This is very true. I have thought about it. I would have loved to have been not on Broadway, but like like the Paramount or Drury Lane. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I would have loved to put me as a tree in the back.
Is that not an option anymore?
I'm sure it is, but
It's just not something that's on.
but the thing, the dedication, I wouldn't be able to work where I am now because
Right.
you're in rehearsals.
It's not a priority right now.
Well, no, I mean, like, I'd have to find someone to watch my kids because you're
Yeah.
like 12, 13, 14-hour days rehearsing.
Man, really?
Yeah, I mean, they're long days because you only have like a couple, I want to say a month or two of rehearsal, and then it's on. And
That's
then,
true.
so then the show, so there's a lot that goes into it. And because I am not that Dave isn't great, but he has a job. And
Well,
so
sure,
like,
right, yeah.
you can't, it's just hard to align people. But maybe one day.
I mean, the kids are getting older.
This is very true.
Unfortunately, so are you.
Unfortunately, so am I. But I try to still stay with my wits, I don't know, like still move and, but yeah, maybe one day.
I think that'd be awesome.
Or
Or even like to choreograph on that level.
That would be cool. I mean,
Do you like putting the stuff together better than dancing? Or like I love wrestling. I don't want to wrestle, but I like building the storylines and fleshing out how things are going to work.
yeah.
Like I could put together a match and a storyline. I feel like that's like similar to choreographing.
Right, yeah.
Do you prefer one to the other, and just love the whole process?
So, like, even when my daughter was dancing, like, I was like, you were way better than I ever was at her age. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, for me, am I an excellent dancer? No. Do I know a lot about teaching dance and know a lot about dance? Yes.
Yeah.
So I can teach it. I like to teach it.
Right. I don't think you have to be good at it necessarily to teach it.
No, because teaching
you know
is
what it's
not
supposed to look like.
Yes, and
Yes.
teaching is not what you think it is.
Right.
But other people might not necessarily know.
Yeah.
I would honestly, if I could, I honestly would just be a tree in a musical and just sing and dance with some jazz. Like, I would not even have to be anything fancy because I sing too. So I'd like to do it all.
Do you sing?
Yeah, I'm not great, but I can carry a tune.
Yeah.
My kids in my classroom always want me to sing.
Have you been ever recorded anything?
Dave has recorded me. It's not. I don't like the way my voice sounds.
There's something about dating a musician and like.
Yeah, no, he never liked me singing in the car. sorry, it's true, but it's fine. But that's because he has an ear for something, and I get that. There is a. I mean, I remember I get so ticked off with my one sister because she would say the wrong words. I'm like, those aren't the words.
Yeah.
So we're all.
There's always. I was just talking to a guy, Dave. They're like, "Oh, maybe we should jam," and I'm like, "You guys have to teach me all my bass lines because I don't have any idea what any of them are. I just don't. It's not something that's in my brain all the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of same kind of thing. Like, ugh. What do you suppose is next then? What are you looking for in the future?
That's.
Do you think you'll have more kids?
No. I'm in that next phase of my life, sir.
Yeah.
No, I've already hit that phase, and I have no problem talking about it. Perimenopause sucks.
Yeah.
It is like worse than getting your period as a little girl. I mean, it honestly is horrible. But no, I'm past that, and no, I don't want any. Especially.
Is that a thing that like literally happened?
What?
What you just said, like, I don't. What did you just say?
Perimenopause is the devil. Yes.
What is
Perimenopause? So that's when like you start to do the transition of where like your period is off kiltered, and then you hit menopause and you're done having your period.
Shouldn't that be like 10 to 20 years from now? Or
It depends on the age. Usually, yeah, it's 50s, but no, mine came early.
really?
Yeah, it's been really annoying.
Does that are they more intense or is it just annoying?
Heck yes, and then it's so random, and then you get random hot flashes, and your brain fog is absolutely. Go look it up. Look all
the brain fog is real. I've seen that and heard a lot about that.
It is.
I'm just curious. I've never heard this phrase before that you said.
Perimenopause.
Yeah, because I have an unfortunate quite a few friends that have like really really bad periods, and they're horrible, and like even where they've had to have part of their uteruses removed and stuff, like it's all bad news.
Women really do have
endometriosis.
yes,
also,
that's
like,
so bad. Yeah.
I don't know if you listened to last season, I did an episode with my friend Liz, who had endometriosis, and it took like almost 20 years to find somebody that would even take her seriously, and like then she had it removed, and her her boyfriend actually made a concept album with all of the sounds of her tests and pain and having it removed. And the cover of the album is literally her uterus.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. It's a good listen though as well.
Yeah.
Just because of what she had to go through and things
It's
like that.
It's so hard. I know plenty of people who went through that, and it's brutal.
Would that be? Is that going to be the same route you have to go eventually? Just getting it all taken out? I mean, if you're done having kids,
I already have my one ovary removed.
Yeah.
So,
was it your favorite one?
No, actually, it was a pain in my ass for like 20 years. So no.
Literally?
Yes, literally, it was awful. It was just literally the worst pain. I could never get rid of it. So, and it's like now I feel like I have phantom pain there, but whatever. We'll see.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if I want it. Because here's the thing, like your body goes through all these hormonal changes, and if you take it out without like the flip, and I think you still have to go on some kind of hormone balance thing after you hit menopause.
Right. Yeah, well, I know it triggers it like immediately.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot. It's just like luckily right now, knock on wood, that I haven't lost my hair. Women lose their hair, like it is a thing, and
it's wild.
It is. They do. Like, I remember calling my mom, I think it was on my birthday weekend, I was like, you didn't tell me this was going to happen? And like, but then she said to me, God, you were so mean to me when I was going through mine. And I was like, you're probably right, I was, and I'm really sorry, Mom, that I was, because now I know what it's like.
Yeah.
And again, like, you don't, and, my mom was a single mom at that time, and I was a bitch. I really was. I'm sorry, Mom. And like, having the understanding again, like as you age, like you have this different understanding, and I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry, but it is brutal, but then at the same time, like it's awesome because we were able to have babies, and whoever isn't able to have babies, there's surrogates and adoption. There's so many awesome things, but it's no joke. So men, if you have a wife or girlfriend or anybody that's going through it, be kind to them.
Well, I had a kidney stone once, so
yeah,
that trumps everything you just said. So.
Well, my partner, he had 2 horrific ones, and
they can be pretty rough.
It was bad, and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, it's not a contest at all. It's
no,
ridiculous,
it is just.
But it's rough.
It is. It's. Well, I haven't experienced it. But just watching him go through it was excruciating painful to watch. Yeah. So.
Plus, they had to do what's the thing when they do your belly with the jelly?
Oh, the ultrasound?
Yeah, they ultrasound your ball sack. Like before they realize, because they're trying to figure out what it is to make sure before they do anything. Yeah. And it's just to me that's just funny.
That is funny.
I was laying there dying. And then this guy's like gelling up my balls, and I'm like, you stupid guy.
Yeah, this is awkward. Yeah, no.
I felt that was fair because since I didn't participate talking about your vagina, so I justified it by talking about my balls.
So, but the thing is, I will say, is that once you have kids, then too, you're like, well, there's no uncomfortableness anymore. Like, everyone's seen it now, so there you go. Like, I'm just saying, like, when I go in to get a mammogram or something like that, it's like, whatever. Like, it's, when you go into your first female doctor visit, it's very awkward.
Right.
But
it goes away. It's like when you're young and you go to the gym and you're like, why are these naked men just walking around? And then you get old and you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, no one cares.
Well, great. I think that wraps her up, eh? We'll end on your vagina and your horrible periods.
No, that's so bad.
Unless there's something else you want to talk about.
No, I mean, I don't think so. It's just that, well, one, thank you for having me.
I appreciate you finding time.
This is awesome. And, two, like, I hope it reaches to people that maybe it makes them feel a little better, or, like, just that there is hope there. And I fully, fully believe that the universe does have your back, and that even in that moment where it feels like it's so horrible, there is a reason for it, and just wait, and something magical is going to come out the other side, and like, you can't stop believing.
Yes, I do like ending on Journey because Steve Perry is the greatest
Oh my
frontman of all
God, he
time.
is just, I just love him. That's what I would like to meet Steve Perry. I'm just kidding.
That would be good.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, you have to hurry, I feel like.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But, yeah, just don't stop believing.
Sounds good. Let's end it there. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.